Hey everybody, it's Brad at Dayport Brothers LLC out in Versailles, Ohio. Gonna do another walk around video, followed by an operational video on this 2000 New Holland TN70 tractor that came in and we're putting up for sale. Like always, I'll walk around, I'll talk about the features and functions, I'll get up close to everything, I'll show you anything that I see, talk about anything that I know, and then of course we'll fire it up, show you the 3-point, show you the PTO, let you hear the engine, drive it around, hit the brakes hard, show you they work good and strong, show you that it turns and steers well. As always, if you are in the market for a used tractor, a used piece of ag equipment, or a used piece of construction equipment, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Your likes and subscriptions help other people who are looking for equipment find our videos and find our machines, and we truly do appreciate it. All right, like I said, this one's a 2000 New Holland TN70 OROPS 2-wheel drive. It's got the 8-speed mechanical shuttle, 1 rear remote, R1 tires. Hour meter and the tachometer do not work. It's showing 2,377 hours on the hour meter, but like I said, that does not tick over, and the tach doesn't work quite right. When you start it up, it comes up to about 1,000 RPMs and it never goes up above that, so that's not working correctly. So we don't know the exact hours. Like I said, showing 2377, but that does not tick over. So here, I'll get up close to everything. Like I said, in a little bit, we'll fire it up and show you the hood and everything. I'm sure this has probably all been painted at some point. You'll see some scuffs and scratches here. A couple kind of little 2 different colors of blue right there. Otherwise, nice and straight. Does have some scratches there and some scuffs. But that blue, I'm sure that's probably been painted at some point. These were notorious for that peels off real bad. A couple spots up there where it's peeling off again. Same thing over here on this side. Decal's pretty good. There's some scratches and a couple pieces there. Spots of pretty deep scratches in the decal. Looking at the front tire on this side, I'm gonna say we're probably down to the last 10, it's probably below 10% tread depth there, and there's a little bit of weather checking inside there. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Definitely, like I said, it's below 10% there on the tread depth. Looking at the front rim over here on this side, again, I'm sure that rim, I can tell you, it's been painted at some point. You can see some spots underneath there where the paint had flaked off before they painted. No huge dents or dings around the outer edge. There's one right here. Actually, there's one ding there. Otherwise, the outer edge of that rim's pretty good. Tire, we have not had to add any air to it, so it is holding the air. It's not leaking in the air there, but you can see there's a ding in that outer edge of that rim up here. Coming to the back, looking at the fender on this side, pretty darn straight there. I'm not seeing any huge dents or dings. Again, I'm gonna guess that the blue has been, yeah, it's definitely been painted. I can see some spots where there was the little scratches and stuff underneath there where it's been painted. Again, these New Hollands were notorious for that blue paint peeled off real bad. You can see some here where there's kind of 2 layers there. Otherwise, like I said, though, that fender's in good shape. No huge dents or dings. It wasn't like it was nasty, rusty or anything underneath there, just where the paint peels. A little bit of a spot where that fender's bent up a little bit here, a little bit of a spot where the paint's flaked off there on that outer edge. Otherwise, underneath that fender, everything looks pretty good. Rear tire on this side is pretty darn good. I'm gonna say we're 90% tread depth there. Still has some of these little knobs here, you can see. Very deep tread bars there. No weather checking to speak of here on this rear tire. And then taking a little step back, looking at the rear rim on this side. Again, I'm sure this rim's been painted at some point. You can see there's some paint chips on the outer edges especially. Otherwise, I'm not seeing any huge dings in that outer edge of the rim. Just some spot where there's some paint chips and stuff there. Coming around the back. 3-point, like I said, we'll show you that. Does have the extenders here. Drawbar looks pretty decent. Does have a little bit of an egged out shape. I'm sure this was probably a mowing tractor if I had to guess. PTO looks good, and that engages and disengages fine. 1 rear remote. Everything else back here on this rear end looks good. I'll try to go slow here so you can kind of see everything. PTO shield is in good shape. For whatever reason, you see a lot of these, they're missing. That one's present and in good shape. Inside of that fender looks fine. Same thing over here. This fender's definitely been painted. I can see some spots where there was paint had peeled underneath of it. Coming over here looking at the rear tire on this side, I'm going to say we are probably 15% tread depth. I think I'm being fair there. A little bit of weather checking starting in here. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there is definitely weather checking in here. There you can definitely see some. Side walls, again, there's some light weather checking here in the side walls. I don't know how well you guys can see that. It's kind of hard with the sun. It's definitely there. Taking a little step back, looking at the rear rim on this side again, definitely been repainted at some point, and you can see there's just some spots around the outer edges where it's got paint chips, scuff scratches, nothing out of the ordinary. I'm not seeing any huge dings in that outer edge of that rim. Up underneath that fender, everything looks fine underneath there. And then again, looking down the side of the fender, pretty straight, not seeing any huge dents or dings here. Steps good on this side. Front tire on this side, pretty much the same as the other side. Definitely wore down below the, I mean, this side's actually got a little less tread than the other side. You can barely see these two spots here where they actually have the tread bar in between. So this side's a little lower than the other side. Again, some weather checking there. Front rim again has been painted just like the other ones that we've looked at. Not seeing any huge dings on the outer edge of this side though. Looks pretty square there. That's actually just some paint chipping off there, I guess. Looking at the side of the hood and everything here on this side, again, nice and straight. I'm not seeing any huge dents or dings. It's definitely been painted at some point. You'll see a couple little paint chips here and here. I don't know how well you guys can see them. I know that sun's kind of a little tough there. You can see it's pretty reflective. They did a pretty good job painting it. It wasn't a bad paint job. This front black mesh grill is pretty decent all the way around. Let's see if I can lift this here. It's kind of heavy, and I know this doesn't have a latch, so I'll just show you up here. I'll hold it up here and look in here. Everything looks pretty well normal there. Up top, everything looks pretty good. Bottom side of the hood, everything's good here. I'd assume this is supposed to have a shock or something somewhere, but it doesn't anymore. I'll lower this down and then I'll go over to the side and show you what I can see on the side of the block. Over here on the side of the block on this side, as you can see here, we got a block heater. Looking in here on the side of the block, nice and dry there. I'm not seeing any oil or diesel or antifreeze running anywhere. Here down back here in the back, everything looks fine there. We'll go over to the other side, take a look on this side of the block, see what we can see over here. Same thing, seems nice and dry in here. I'm not seeing any oil or diesel or antifreeze running anywhere. Take a look at the operator station here. That step's good. Underslung exhaust seems fine. The platform, everything looks pretty well normal here. Clutch pedal's still pretty darn good. All of these little rib texture pieces are still nice and tall. None of those are getting wore down. Everything looks good there. Taking a look at the seat here. Bottom seat cushion looks fine. I'm not seeing any cuts or tears there. Backrest, same thing. I don't see any cuts or tears there in that backrest. Over here, brake pedals look good. Throttle pedal looks fine. Insides of these fenders, like I said, they've definitely been painted. Levers for your gear shift ranges, your gears, your range. Everything looks pretty well normal down there. PTO lever. Throttle lever's kind of a little nasty up top there. Here, looking down in at the dash, you can see there that the plastic that's in there is kind of cracked. I don't know how. I'll try to get in just a little closer so you guys see that well. Try not to bump the microphone too much. It's kind of hard where that plastic is and where the microphone is on my camera here, but you can see in there, like I said, tach doesn't work, hour meter doesn't work. The tach tries to, but it gets stuck at about 1,000. I don't know if it's just getting stuck because that plastic's busted up or what, but it's not working properly. This plastic piece comes up here, it's got a small crack in it over here. Otherwise, everything else up here looks pretty good. All right, like I said, this one's a 2000 New Holland TN70. Lots of photos on our website. That's listed down below in the description. If you have any questions, comment down below. We'll try to answer them for you. We'll fire it up, get right into an operational video.